Hello and welcome to the next in our series of talks for Mental Health Awareness Week on the subject of kindness. Today, I'm joined by Peter Kelly. Peter is the Senior Psychologist at the Health and Safety Executive. He's on the 2020 Inside Out Leaderboard, smashing the stigma of mental health. And he's also one of the expert advisors on international standard ISO 45003, which is a standard for psychological health, safety, and well-being. So we're going to talk about kindness, Peter, today, and specifically kindness in the workplace. Do you think people show enough kindness in the workplace?
I think some people show kindness in the workplace, and obviously there are those that don't. I think really kindness, is a part of our nature, isn't it? In trying to reach out and to help people. I think what's been fascinating over the last sort of 8 weeks is the random acts of kindness that we've seen as we've done this in our own communities. And I'd like to think that we can transfer those acts of kindness also back to the workplace, and look after each other and look after our colleagues in whichever way we can, and just keep an eye out on people. So I think in the past, maybe some may have been focused very much on self, and I think the act of kindness takes away yourself from that, and it makes you think about others. So I'm all for that.
It would be great if we could see some more kindness taken back into the workplace, definitely. So do you think if we take kindness back into the workplace, will that make our workplaces safer and healthier for everyone?
Well, I think certainly kindness will impact on people's mental health, and acts of kindness may act on their physical health as well, or safety. Actually looking out for others in the workplace is a really good thing to do, isn't it? If you can see somebody's doing something that it shouldn't be, or not sure it's the best way of doing it, saying to someone, well, look, you could do this a different way, may actually be the difference between them having an incident and not. But particularly around mental health, I think being kind to people and showing people empathy and being authentic about that is really, really important. So I believe that, random acts of kindness, or even acts of kindness that are routine, need to be there to help people to feel that they're connecting with those people around them. I mean, I'm terrible. I walk around and have coffee with people and go and just stand by their desk. Now, I won't be able to do that necessarily when they go back because of social distancing, but I'll still find ways of trying to encourage people. Isn't it interesting? 2 words: thank you and well done. Really hard vocabulary to master, but will make a lot of difference when you're actually doing well with something. So I think that's really important. Simple thanking someone, saying you're doing a great job, you're doing well, or well, is really, really important.
Yeah, and I absolutely get what you're saying there. It's just a feeling, isn't it? They are just small worlds, but they can make such a vast difference to somebody's day in terms of how good they feel.
Yeah, and the irony is, if you ask people in an audience of 100, when was the last time someone thanked you for doing a piece of work, we often find a low amount of numbers. And I think that's to the detriment of the organisation. In good organisations, in happy organisations where people are enjoying their work, when you ask that question, then you get higher rates. And those companies are successful because their people are happy in the workplace they're in. Their health is being looked after, both mentally and physically, and they feel that their organisation is connected with them.
So what would you perhaps say to those leaders or managers who think that showing kindness in the workplace is weakness? What would you say to them?
Well, personally, I don't think it's very hard, is it? Being kind to people is kind of like, it should be something that we naturally do. But here's the question. Somebody says that, ask the likes of Timpsons, okay? Now, in the case of Timpsons, their business is subsidiaries, so people that own the Timpson, the shoe repair shops, own their own business, but they're a part of the Timpson brand. What did James Timpson do when the pandemic kicked in? He turned around and he publicly said, we're going to close all our shops and we're going to look after our people. Immediately, we're going to look after our people. Yeah. So what it says is we care about the people that we with. And we also know that twice a year that members that run the business and their families go to down to where the Timpsons have their home, and they have a weekend with the family. And it's just doing things that really are really just genuine acts of kindness. You know, Timpsons do well because people are looked after in their organisation. I've often said it: look after your people, they'll look after you. It doesn't seem rocket science, does it? It's like, well, I'll just really not look after my people, and then they'll be committed to working for my organisation. That truth is no. We all know of organisations where we've gone, I hate this, I don't want to be here, because they're not interested in me. Which is, you know, it's part that it's not really an organisation I want to work in, and I guess that wouldn't be the organisation you want to work in.
No, we want to work in a place where we feel valued and where we feel part of something and looked after, don't we? So, you know, what we're saying then is it's good for productivity. It's good for business results.
Good for productivity, good for business results, and it's the right thing to do. and more than ever, as people return to work now, from this period of isolation, they're going to need kindness in the workplace. They're going to need to feel that they're supported, that people will just say, hey, you know, do you find, here's a cake here, or, you know, we're doing this, why don't you join our quiz? You know, the different ways that we would just take what we're doing in some of these really interesting stuff we're doing in lockdown and transfer that back to the workplace. You know, having catch-ups and talking to people is really important. We're going to need to connect more than ever as we return back to work. And if we're going to look at people's mental health, then it's about purpose, and it's about connection, and it's about empathy, and it's about kindness. Okay, all of those are really hard to put in place, aren't they? But they're not. We do it outside the workplace every day of our life. We show empathy, we show, you know, and we show love and kindness and support to our families and to our friends. Why do we cut those emotions off at times when we go to work and go, can't do that? As we know, and as I've already said, successful business are businesses that take people on that journey, and they feel committed to what the vision is of that, what they're doing, but they feel they're being looked after.
They do.
And that's the kindness. If there's a kindness agenda, it's looking after the people around us and looking after our biggest single asset is our people. You don't have a system, you don't have a process unless you have people who feel they're being looked after.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Peter, for sharing your insights with us today. That was really, really interesting to hear. Thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow for another episode on mental health and kindness. In the meantime, don't forget our challenge. The challenge is to either do one act of kindness or observe one act of kindness. And when you've done that, just notice how it makes you feel. Let us know what you've done by writing in the comments below. And if you've observed an act of kindness done by somebody else, tag that person in if you can. Take care, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.